Rome's, I know you can hear me. I have come to you today. You have been neglecting your gifts. I have given you the power of my dreams. You must use them to make your own. Now wake. I guess I have to get back on my grind. What's up, my people? I know I have been away for a while. I've been making prayer videos for my TikTok or Instagram if you are following me on either or. And because, my golly, they take a little longer. But here we go, Sandman. Yeah, I know I'm late, but this show is absolutely incredible. And I want to start tackling more fantasy shows. And yes, this is based on a comic, a graphic novel, one of the best works of literature until literature community got salty about a comic book winning one of their awards, but we'll go into that later. But yes, I want to talk about Sandman. So I read Sandman, the first trade. I have the omnibuses with me. Look how beautiful that one is, as you can tell. Look at that. Pages are black. Absolutely incredible book. Look at that. Artwork, amazing. It's by Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman is also the writer on this show as well. He has a chance to do his adaptation twice and even better the second time. In my opinion, I think the show is better paced than the first book. The first trade or volume of Sandman. And not to knock that the comic, he wasn't sure that the show was going to be, his comic was going to be canceled after issue 7, so he decided to get a little more riskier with his stories. But it's hard to front that these stories are absolutely incredible. And they're so unique and so... it's hard to describe Sandman. So Sandman is about Morpheus, one of the Endless. He has 5 brothers and sisters. And this is based off the comic book or the comic series by Neil Gaiman as well. And he gets entrapped in this ritual that is done by amateurs, to say the least. And they end up taking his stuff. And he is stuck in there for about, I want to say, almost 100 years, 75 years, something like that. I'll put the date up here. But because of this, they ended up causing chaos beyond his realm and the human world or our reality. And it has philosophy. There's a lot of philosophical things in here. There's mythology as well, there's deities, everything you could think of. Fantasy wise, this is a fantasy show. Netflix did put up the money for it. It has stunning visuals, and the writing is great, the casting is great. But this show particularly follows Morpheus, because in the later seasons we're gonna see different protagonists as well, but this is the type of decisions he's the ruler of the dream world and he must repair it. He is very strong to his cause, so that does cause people around him to question or not agree with what he is doing it or how he's doing it, and therefore if he could either change or he can grow. And this is a remarkable series. Okay, let's go to casting. The guy who plays Morpheus, I'll put the guy up here. He is spot on, and he sounds so much like the guy I hear when I'm reading the comic itself. He just split, just yanked out of the page. He's so cold. He's just like Morpheus. He's cold, he's calculating, but he's willing to learn and grow. However, this show is gonna introduce it and adapt it. It's absolutely incredible. This is honestly probably the best adaptation for comic book media since Invincible. Yes, I said it. This is doing his vision way more justice than if somebody else had the hand and the wheel in doing so. Neil Gaiman is a great writer by many measures. He's done many other things. you are some things that he has done, and maybe you've read or seen some of them. I know he's doing Norse mythology. I have a buddy of mine, Thorstorian. You saw him in Prey. Go check that one out. They just started releasing them on hardcover. But getting back to it, announced was Death. Death was tricky for me. I didn't know if they're gonna pull that one off, and they did. The actress that they have for her is downright incredible. She acts just like the comic. She's a friend to those that are worthy of having someone come to them in their final hour. The Sound of Her Wings. Her episode is one of my favorite episodes in this whole entire series, and actually one of my favorite Sandman comics that I've read so far. I probably want to make I'll probably make it into a TikTok. We'll see. Being one of my favorite issues, I knew this was going to be one of my favorite episodes. When Morpheus was sitting down, I knew they were going to do this almost shot for shot. And they practically did, especially whenever I saw the kid with the soccer ball. I knew how it was going to end. But they add a lot of nuances that you can't really do with a comic book itself. Like the man with the fiddle was very touching scene. Or the woman with the baby, how they excluded that last part. You could even hear her wings flapping every time she takes someone up into wherever they're going to go next. And she always acts very friendly when she comes up to these people to help them or to give them some type of feeling that they're not going to be alone through this journey. The way the actress portrayed Death really made me want to go up and give her a hug. She was so inviting and so down to earth, something Morpheus needed. This is probably one of my favorites. Netflix has been killing it this year, I will admit. Stranger Things, sorry I didn't get a chance to do that one. There's so much stuff coming out. My app got fucked up. Yeah, Netflix is killing it. They put a lot of money into this. You could tell. The amount of CGI. The CGI looks way better than a Marvel movie. I'm sorry if I'm bashing Marvel, but the amount... Dude, some of this stuff looks like Lord of the Rings type of like CGI. Like, it looks amazing. The acting and everything, the mythology is absolute. If the mythology will definitely grab your attention if you are into that type of stuff. And speaking of mythology, we got a bonus episode. Split. It's two in one. One is about the cats. The cats is actually pretty damn good. So don't turn away from it just because it's animated. The next one is absolutely... It feels so real. Like, it feels like it's a real story. That's a lot of what Sandman's strong and the stories of individual people. Not about Morpheus. Because later down the line, you're going to see whenever the next few seasons when they get announced or whenever we see them, we're going to see different characters and different people. We're not going to see Morpheus all the time. Morpheus ends up becoming kind of like a secondary character who's overall series. So be on the lookout for that. This actually covers the first 2 volumes. Preludes and Nocturnes. Is that the one I want to say? And The Doll's House. This is almost verbatim the comic. Like, almost verbatim. Like, they change and tweak a little things here and there. You can't front. He's doing it way better this time. This is an absolutely gorgeous show. Cinematography is great. The acting is impeccable. I feel like they grabbed great actors for this. And, okay, here's a little fun fact. So, in the comics, Constantine was that girl that you saw. Constantine actually had that whole scene instead of Constantine, the woman that's supposed to be his relative. I don't know if we'll get like maybe a John Constantine type of thing. We'll see. Another is Lucifer. If you saw the show, and you know which one I'm talking about, the one on Netflix as well. That's what happens afterwards. Like, this is what happens afterwards. I also have the omnibus for Lucifer, where he leaves hell and he goes and he runs a nightclub called Lux, like the way in the show. But this is a lot more dark. And if y'all want a review, let me know, because some of these Sandman type of stories, they take long. The Vertigo comics, they take longer to read, but they're so great. They're for mature audiences. But yes, that scene with Lucifer, the battle, that I don't think that was in the comic, or it didn't play out like it did, because I think he battles the demon instead of her or him, or you know what I mean. But oh man, that scene in hell, there's so many great scenes in here. Like, even the Constantine, was it the possession? Is it the possession or the exorcist with Constantine? That was incredible. One of my favorite, I mean, for me, is my favorites. It's dark as hell, but the diner scene, I feel like they did it so well. And I was surprised they actually did it for the show. As it being, Neil Gaiman now looks back on it saying it was probably too dark for him to do. Just the imagery alone as well. Just the pages being brought to life in just film. And this show really, really leans on the artist's panels. Basically, it seems like they just used the storyboards. They just grabbed the comics. Really hope we get season 2, 3, and we finish the whole entire series. I can't wait to read more Sandman. I really hope y'all get a chance to watch this. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and watch it. It's a fantasy show. I'm gonna give it a solid 8.5. I'm not gonna give it a 9. We'll save it for season 2 and 3. Wait until you get to the Shakespeare stuff. That's where things are gonna get real good. Oh, and then we also got an extra episode, which is quite great. The cats and everything. And which leads me to my next point is, are we gonna get spin-offs like we did in the actual series, the comic book series with Death? I got the one for my mom, so she has her own personal stories, Death, and they're quite great, quite touching. She is probably my favorite part of this series, both in the comics and in the live action. So let's hope that this show does so well enough we get that solo series, just solo mini series, just do 2 or 3 arcs and just wrap it up in a nice bow, or at least one mini series for Netflix. And like the motion comics that I do for like TikTok and Instagram, y'all want that? Let me know down in the comments below. I would love to make that. Now that right now TikTok doing a little dive right now on views, so I'm gonna jump back on my YouTube, show y'all some love. Y'all always have deserved my love. That's why I'm here. Why I ended up on TikTok. Thanks guys. I will have since Star Wars is coming up, I'm very, very excited. I will have my Obi-Wan, my Darth Vader series coming up around that time. And October, I want to release nothing but horror. There will be some stuff that I will do. I got a guest coming soon for Rings of Power. I'm loving Rings of Power. I might do House of Dragons. Let me know down in the comments if you all want that as well. Comment below if you have read Sandman, and tell everybody else how amazing the series is if you have finished it. Hopefully one day I can finish it, maybe review it for the show. We'll see. I need y'all to let me know. But thanks everybody for watching. I really appreciate it. Thanks for being patient with me. And as always, deuces all. And y'all have a good one. Stay safe and watch what you're eating, guys. I just had food poisoning and it was not fun. Deuces, y'all.